gonna talk about the newest Twitch updates. And honestly, I have to say, when I first read it, I was speechless. I was absolutely just flabbergasted about some of these changes. Yeah, Yomi, what were your thoughts when you first saw it?
Well, when I first heard it, I absolutely panicked. Because I was like,
Yeah, I think most people did.
I just got a new model. What's gonna happen? Well, am I gonna be in trouble? Am I alright? But then, I never leap on stuff right away. I never post about stuff right away. I took some time and I did my research and I was like, alright, still sucks. Not as bad as it sounds. But initial reaction was, I'm doomed.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
So, chat.
No boobs. No hips. No waist.
It's so strange to me that they focus more on. Let me give you the story here of what's going down, chat.
Yeah.
So first up, this was announced, what, 2 days ago? The Twitch
2 days ago
streaming
now,
app.
yeah.
Today we are entroducing enforcement notes, additional clarifications and examples within the community guidelines designed to make our rules easier to follow. Now, chat, more transparency is always a good thing. We appreciate that as streamers. We want more clarification. I think that this is great that they are adding more clarification, right? So within this entire article here, they go on to add some notes about self-destructive behavior, which I think is okay, violence and threats, terrorism, use safety, so on and so forth, chat. So some updates that I think were okay. I think there was one that I wanted to point out here that was about like self-destructive behavior. So let's take a look here.
There was one on that too that caught my eye where I thought, yeah, right there, the alcohol consumption one was.
Yeah. So you want to read it?
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, this actually is a new policy here. This is not this part we're about to go on.
Yeah, this is a brand new one.
And it is that we are any of the following activities being sold, which may cause harm from monetary gain, such as subscriptions, bits, tips, etc. So that means even your PayPal and stuff. It is no longer allowed. They are now prohibiting the examples of taking shots of alcohol or subs, or doing the cinnamon challenge for a set amount of bits. The drinking goal streams are not provided that the drinking that takes place is not excessive and be reasonable to be expected to cause harm. So our our examples, which are very common streams, will be more or less drinking streams. Like, I will open this bottle of whatever sort of alcohol for 100 subscribers. Drinking stream, we hit 50 new subs tonight.
That is an allowed example, chat.
Yeah, this is a common one. However, the prohibited now ones are where they will down the bottle of vodka for these subscribers or take a shot for every 100. So it's
I'm okay
you're allowed
with this
to
rule.
drink.
I'll be really yummy.
I'm confused in some parts of it. I'm glad for things like the cinnamon challenge. Let's all the way go back to the
Oh my god.
the Tide
Oh my
Pods.
God. Yeah. Oh no.
Wait, I'm Tide Pod colored.
Oh my god, Yomi is the Tide Pod challenge. Basically, like, if there's like an individual, like, I will take a shot or drink this amount is not okay, but something more like open where it's like, I'll start drinking as like a stream, or I'll open a bottle, but no set amount I'm going to drink every time. It's okay. It's basically like you're not rewarding directly drinking with bits and subs and stuff like that.
It's an interesting thing because I've seen these streams. It's not my thing, I don't drink at all, actually. I was thinking one of these days I might have my first drink from based on the allowed
Right.
examples, like drinking stream. We hit 100, so yeah, maybe I'll do that. But the problem is with the prohibited examples, or the problem it promotes, if people did do these, is folks, if they just keep drinking, they get 100 bits, drink, 100 bits, drink, they could kill themselves.
Yeah, they literally could, guys. The alcohol poisoning.
I know most people are responsible enough as is, and they'll put a cutoff, but you never know what happens after so many of your drinks. It's a complicated road where it should weigh on your responsibility, but you're also not that responsible when you're drunk. It's the same reason why you don't drink and drive.
I think an interesting thing to consider here as well, Yomi, is by
Please.
reading this, I would assume that you could no longer participate in the one chip challenge as well. I think that would be considered prohibited by what I'm reading, at least. Remember, this is not, selling an activity that causes self-harm or subs is not allowed. So I don't think that if you were to do a one chip challenge based off subs, that would no longer be allowed. So I think for all intents and purposes, this was probably a pretty decent rule. I'm okay with this rule. I think this is fine.
You're helping me understand it a bit more too, which That's why I watch you a lot.
Do I appreciate it? I appreciate I'm glad we can talk about it. And, there's some other stuff in here about off-service conduct. I really like Twitch enforcing against certain severe offenses that occur off Twitch. I think that that's great. People are being assholes off stream. They're really doing some horrible stuff like hateful conduct, harassment, sexual harassment, so on and so forth. I do think that should be worthy of getting you banned. And I feel like a lot of these updates were pretty solid. I didn't have a really big problem with it until there were two things. Well, really one thing, but two things that Twitch decided, as they said, to add some additional clarifications about chat. So let's go take a look.
Here we go.
And I want to talk about these 2 points. The entire policy applies to VTubers and the same way applies to other streamers. Okay, that's great that they clarified that. However, in practice, I very much disagree about their enforcement. I don't think they enforce this equally, but nonetheless, at least they did say it. So here's the other parts about it. Genitalia, buttocks, hips, female-presented nipples, and underbust must be covered at all times on general streams. On general streams, chat. So I think they mean outside of hot tub and bikini.
Yeah. Or I guess workout?
Maybe a workout. Yeah, that might be okay. These guidelines apply to VTuber models, but not video game characters, including those uploaded into games such as VR chat. So I do want to start clarifying on this a bit, because they do say not video game
one
characters.
Where people are getting confused.
So I think they're not saying VTuber models that are uploaded are exempt from this rule. They're saying video game characters. So if I download a model of Pyra from a Xenoblade and walk around with it, they're saying that the guidelines would not apply to that, but they are saying apply to VTuber models. So I feel like this is important to point out, because a lot of people are like, oh, VR chat is completely exempt. By the way that this reads, I disagree.
There is a very important thing about this that actually does give us protection in a good way. And I thought about this, which is, think about when you're playing a fighting game, and I mentioned Cammy before. Cammy, her leotard, whatever.
Cammy's a great
if someone
example.
chose that character and they appeared on screen, that outfit would go against her TOS. But you can't prevent that. That's an opposing player. You can't tell them, well, I'm streaming, you can't choose that. So if that happened on VR chat, where a person that you can't control, you just enter a lobby and there happens to be somebody who's got a very spicy model, you can't prevent that. So that does at least provide us with some protection. I'm not saying everything here is good, but I am saying that is a way to wrap your head around to actually look at it in a good way, if that makes sense.
I think also, like, another example would be, let's say you load up Tekken 8, you go online. Somebody has a custom model that they made that has exposed hips. You are protected from that, chat, and that's a good thing. Now, here's the part where everybody started losing their mind, chat. Hip coverage is often forgotten in this rule. Please be sure that your VTuber model covers this area. Chat, this rule is not new. This rule has been around for over 2 years. So everybody has lost their minds about it. I don't really understand that. They're just really pointing out additional clarification. Hey, this is forgotten to VTuber models. Make sure that it's covered.
Yeah, and I think it does suck. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like this rule. When I can show mine. When I got this done, obviously the skirt is covering the hips, and the leotard here that's exposing the side, this is my waist. This is okay. This is the waist area. My belt line is almost exactly where
like
the hips
Yomi's
go.
good, chat.
But I do wish that I could, I have a skirt toggle that I can remove. I wish I could just, right? That I could have that. It's built in there. It sucks, because a lot of people are going to have to, because this wasn't clarified so well before, a lot of people are going to scramble to try to get things redone. And while it is this way, empathy is strong. I think we shouldn't just be like, well, it's always been there for 2 years. Yeah, it's been there for 2 years. But I do think for a lot of newer people who didn't know, or this wasn't clarified as well in the last few years, we should have some empathy. We should realize, like, yeah, it still isn't fair. It still isn't right, especially when there is the impartial way that they treat us VTubers as compared to the IRL streamers, which you said it yourself.
But still,
there is favoritism. I'm not even gonna argue that.
I think it's more about just going back to their enforcement. Their enforcement about the hips is very scattered. It's not very clear. So overall, I would really say that, unfortunately, if they enforce things actually correctly across the board, right, with IRL streamers and, of course, VTubers, it'd be a different thing. I mean, chat, let's be real. Like, I mean, I know I have this chastity belt like thing on right now, but, on the side, like my hips are pretty exposed. According to their rules, I should be banned, but I've never had a problem with my hips, right? So it's kind of like, it's weird that they don't enforce it correctly.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Everybody kind of freaked out about this particular posting, which we're going to look at a bit. But what I want to talk about mostly, chat, even though we're going to talk about this, is Twitch is now officially drawn the line when it comes to lollies and shotas, chat. And this is a huge, huge deal because, as you guys know, Loli and Shota is very ingrained into the VTuber community. It's very ingrained in anime culture. And we got to take a look at this about the enforcement
Yeah.
notes and the
Before we do
clarification here.
there was a great question from chat that I actually did want to
Yeah, no,
look at,
go,
which
go for it.
was from Science Nico. It's asking about the things for like nagas or for like monstrous kind of like body types.
Oh, like a non-humanoid type of model.
Yeah, here it is from Joker Base. Snake, bug, fish type, like the lower half. Hell, my friend Vika the bug. They've got like a little bit of hip there, but it's like bug hip. It's like purple and stuff.
Right.
That's again where I wish we had someone we could just talk to. Be like, hey, is this okay? Yes or no?
That's funny because I posed that question actually underneath this post here. I literally said, "How are hips defined on non-human models?" That's funny. I thought of that as well because I was like, "Let's see. Let's use Vexoria for example, right? She doesn't technically have hips. You know what I mean? Like technically,
Yeah.
but what do they want to define as her hips per se? Is she just completely exempt from the rule? I don't know. I literally have
And
no idea
there's-
what to say about it. What's it
And
want
there's
to go with
another
it,
thing I
chat?
just thought. There was the VTuber model that had that amazing hip shake dance in a cultural expression. And now we are denying some cultural expression. And I don't know how to
Yep.
feel about that.
Yep.
I don't know
and
how to
it
tackle the
sucks.
situation.
That sucks because you're celebrating your culture, but according to Twitch, by certain rules, you're not allowed to do that without it being covered according to their rules and regulations, which I'll show this in particular here in just a moment. So, guys, let's talk about this particular rule because this is where I really want to dive into stuff. That is a huge change for many streamers, chat, and I think this is going to. I do truly and honestly believe.
Since I've heard about the hip thing, my mind went straight to looks like Twitch isn't hip anymore. Now I'm
Twitch
just
isn't
seeing
hip
a lot
anymore.
of tubers scrambling to adjust to it.
Hi, Don.
Hope
Good to
this
see
won't
you.
cause more trouble than it should.
I hope so too, Selviana. I hope that there's some answers. And you know who I'm going to reach out to? I'm going to reach out to Lala. She's one of my friends, and hopefully maybe she can get us some answers,
Lala?
right? Since she's an ambassador. So
Yeah.
but I really do feel this, chat, that Twitch VTuber bans are about to get so much worse because of this right here. So let's take a look, chat. I want to read it to you. Depicting fictional anime characters of childlike appearance, lollies and shotas with any kind of sexual framing is not allowed. This applies to VTubers and within games where avatars are uploaded, such as VR chat with childlike avatars, even if the broadcaster and operator of the avatar is above the age of 18. Any humor regarding anything sexual in relation to minors will result in immediate action on your account. How do you feel about this one?
I don't trust
I
them.
have a lot of devil's advocate rules about this. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't trust them to properly enforce what it means when it says childlike appearance. What qualifies as childlike appearance?
Exactly. I do not trust Twitch to identify what that means because if I break out my Chibi model, they don't understand the anime culture as it is. Hell, half of Twitch staff thinks we're AI. Do you honestly trust that they're gonna believe that a chibi is an own art form of expression and to say, oh, this chibi, that's childlike? I don't want to speak for them, but I'm very scared that, yeah, you guys are mentioning Chibi Doki. I'm very scared that they might look at these VTubers and think, well, that's just a child or acting like a child doing these very adult humor. No, obviously they're not. This is that is how they choose to express themselves. Some people are just very petite and have models that are a bit more on the petite side, but Twitch is gonna see anime style, petite body type, lolly. They could do that. I'm not saying they will. I'm not speaking exactly for the way they think, but we don't really know what Twitch is thinking half the time. And it's such a broad stroke that it's not easy to apply in a good context.
Even though, like, we can say right now, Belfry, that Chibi isn't childlike, unfortunately, we don't know Twitch's intentions. And again, they did not, even though they said that they clarified, they did not clarify what childlike appearance actually means, right? What did it qualify as that? Is
Like,
that height? Is that height
I'm
and
not saying
voice?
Chibi's childlike either.
You know, what is it? We don't know what that is. And I feel like there's a lot of people in the VTuber community that are very comfortable with saying, I'm a lolly, I'm a shota, and I do have more of a sexual framing to some of their stuff. Would they consider this as a childlike appearance? I wouldn't because I think it's a chibi, right? But nonetheless, we don't know Twitch's intentions. We don't know. What about Iron Mouse, right? Like, that's a good question.
Yeah. When I make sus, I literally have this when I make sus jokes like, heh booba. You know,
Right,
we're sussy all the time on my streams. I'm a little scared about making this, even though I have obviously very much let me the right toggle here. There we go. Like I have booba on this. But here's the thing. I don't see Twitch having that much education on, as you said, the ingrained culture of what we are, and it's gonna lead to a lot of issues. It's gonna have growing pains, and I don't know what's gonna happen, but I am very scared for folks like we said, like Chibi or some others who, no, they're not a childlike model, they're a Chibi model.
Exactly.
Know that?
I'm very scared for a lot of creators. For instance, like I know that we can talk about, body type. Some people are petite, and some people literally you're just petite, right? I'm going to show you some examples of some things that I wanted to show off in regards to this, because I really do feel like that, unfortunately, chat, the bans are going to get worse because there are a lot of people that, maybe like Shonda, for example, where she's already undergone a lot of stuff, or even somebody in particular I'm going to point out, Vivi-chan. Vivi-chan is very crude, very lewd. She has a very kind of like what I would consider a Loli-esque model. But guys, Vivi is short. Vivi is very small. She has a very petite model IRL. If you've ever seen Vivi in person, she is so small. So it makes a lot of sense, for her to want a model that, is petite, that represents her IRL body. But I truly and honestly believe that she's probably going to be in trouble because of these new rules. So,
there's a big difference too that was established on your stream before when it came to, I'm not gonna talk about it too much, the lollipop and stuff, where a lolly model making sexual jokes about themselves and going deep into it, as compared to having that model and making outside jokes, that are just, adult humor, not about you or your model, but just like in general having adult discussion. There's also a big difference there. I'm not really like against anyone's freedom of expression on these sort of things. I'm a big fan of Rev Says Desu. I agree with a fair share of their stuff and whatnot.
yeah,
but
sure.
Yeah, let it.
I mean, I like Rev as well. And the thing is, Chad, is like, I'm just going to say this now because we are going to talk about Loli and Shota stuff. You don't have to like Loli and you don't have to like Shota stuff. I'm be real. I don't really like it. It makes me a little uncomfortable, but I don't go after anybody that, likes it or whatever, right? Like, if you don't like it, just block and move on with your life. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like it, block and move on. You don't have to like attack people about it. So let's go look at some takes. I do want to look at something that of course, Leia Kitty's actually put out. This post actually kind of blew up quite a bit. Twitch has now confirmed that Vtuber hips must be covered. I can think of many Vtubers that don't have theirs fully covered, me included. The issue is commissioning new outfits to meet ever-changing guidelines is expensive and time-consuming. Be aware of this clarified rule. I think it's good that it was clarified. Obviously, again, guys, this rule has been around for a long time. I'm not a big fan of the fear-mongering around it. I think that if you're going to get a model, you probably should have known this was already a thing. But it is appreciated that Twitch is calling to action, guys. Some of you guys may not be quite in compliance. You probably want to take a look at that, so...
I think that's the thing to always remind is, it has been out here for a while. It's now more clarified. And I do agree. I think the fear-mongering did get pretty high. I know Tomato Master had a pretty good take about it, but I also had seen a few others were saying, like, could we have a bit of empathy at least? Could we have a little bit of sense? I agree with that, too. I think we shouldn't be shouting at the people who are upset about this. That now we're just creating a VTuber war. We don't need that. But we should all be able to try to work together. Hell, I was half tempted to have a little bit of like a donathon to help a couple of VTubers get some rigging piece. That's actually a really good idea.
There's some really nice people out there as well that have put out some good guides. How you can cover your hips, absolutely free, chat. So I encourage you to check it out because you don't have to have a bunch of money to do it. You can only do it for free. I mean, I'm very lucky. My next model does have the hip coverage where it needs to be. So I'm not too worried. I'm just going to kind of go, I'm not going to show my hips much anymore for a while, but or just wear the Twitch chastity belt, like... whatever. But I mean, I don't really trust their decision making when it comes to my current model. Even though they haven't enforced anything upon it.
We don't like it either. That's the thing. We're not advocates for having this censorship, obviously. But damn, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Let's go take a look at what Rima had to say. I really like Rima's take on this as well. Rima's saying, of course, VTubers need to cover their hips and buttocks. Not allowed to take shots for donuts anymore and must refrain from doing sexual jokes and sexual framing if they have lollies and shota models. Meanwhile, on Twitch, of course, we have this here. I'm sorry, but anime buttocks, I'll be more gracious and dignified than the real ones. Of course, we have Asian Bunny, showing this off here. So directly contradicting, saying, oh yeah, like you gotta cover this stuff, but not applying to this actual streamer here, where they have allowed Asian Bunny to get away with this type of stuff.
This is where we have our problem. This is the real thing with us as VTubers. Sure, we're a little miffed about how we have to change our models and stuff like that, but the real reason that we feel targeted and upset is on these two cheeks right here, is because this happens. If we could all be allowed to this, that's also fine. But the issue is the unfair enforcement, is the I don't want to even use the word favoritism. I don't know what word to use here properly, but it's just
Double
they're
standards.
not holding them. Yeah, double standards.
Double
They're not
standards.
holding them to the same standard. Absolutely. Thank you, Elara.
Yeah, double standards big time here. If you're gonna allow this, why the can't I load this up on my VTuber model? You know?
Yeah, because there was the green screen on
can't I?
on the butt stuff. We did this before.
Yep,
It's
exactly.
not in a
Anime
contextual
general is
exception
that it's
loophole
not
because
defined to one
we've done
generic
this as
style
VTubers,
like
and
Western
we got buffed.
animation. It
Absolutely.
needs to
Also, she
stop
has more
applying the
underboob than
Western
she has
mindset
more
to this
underboob.
Japanese art
There's a lot of
style.
underboob
Well,
there.
she
These
is streaming
rules
in her pool's
terms of
hot
small
tub, so
tuber
that would
avatars are
technically
not concise
be
enough to
allowable
fix
by
this
their rules, but
situation. Yes,
yeah, you know,
fits, but
Toast,
like Yomi said,
I
keep
do
the
agree with you
adults
that
safe.
it's
I'll
very
take
much
that
a kind of Western versus Eastern mindset. I'm not gonna dive too much into that, but you know, obviously here this is very interesting that Twitch allows this and not
Most
other stuff.
tubers
So
do streams torso up, so that might be why the rule went unnoticed.
maybe so. I don't
Yeah.
know, Chip, but what I do want to call out here is, of course,
Go.
Petrie is saying, you know, this rule has always been a thing. The wording is clear now, which is appreciated. You know, the image is 2 years old, but please know the TOS before you get your model made. And of course, here is
Before you
the
scroll,
TOS,
Laura.
actually. This is Twitch's
you were right.
actual guidelines. I've shown them before.
Okay.
You know, it's all good. So this is what they're
I wanted
asking
to-
from us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is
maybe
what's
so,
being-
Jeff. But
I
this
wanted
is
to
the
make sure you were
official
okay because I
rules.
was like, I know this image. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like I've already covered this before. So, but this is their official rules, chat. This is their official rules. So take a look at it and apply it to your model. You want to make sure that it is 100% covered. You know, I think Yomi is a perfect example. Yomi is good.
I was gonna say my belt is exactly
Yep.
where that is.
Yep. Yomi is absolutely perfect when it comes to this rule, chat. Yeah, absolutely
And I'm not
perfect
doing
on
that to
it.
show
So,
off, but just for an example, like this is a great way if you do still want to have a lot of waist, or for us leotard users, because you're cultured.
culture.
You can get away with a belt that a skirt that happens to be as thin as a belt.
You really can. Or just wear the chastity belt. I mean,
Or just wear the chastity belts.
yeah, chastity belt, guys. So let's take a look here. Of course, this was announced. I thought this was interesting because Twitch actually responded to something, which you guys are gonna absolutely love here. So Kabuki actually tweeting out here, exceptions of VTubers specific as wild. We are just 2D avatars, but 3D hips, genitalia, buttocks, underbust, and view representing nipples are fine. And Twitch saying, of course, apologies, I believe you're reading this incorrectly. Genitalia, buttocks, hips, female presenting nipples, and underbust must be covered at all times in general streams. VTuber models are held to the same attire guidelines as other streamers. So this is kind of the clarification of the VR chat category. However, you know, VTuber models are held to the same attire guidelines as other streamers. This is just in practice entirely untrue.
Yeah.
Entirely untrue.
In practice is the right word. We've seen it time and time again. We had especially this last month or two, there has been a massive hit on a lot of VTubers.
Oh yeah.
And if you look at the Twitch ban list or the Twitch ban like Twitter, it's VTuber IRL, VTuber IRL. And
Yep.
I don't know how else to add to that, but it is feel when a lot of those IRL people are doing a lot worse. Or, you know, like over last year, where someone had a full-blown having sex on stream, gets banned for a week.
And gets
meanwhile,
unbanned after a week.
Yeah, unbanned for... And meanwhile, it's like,
Actually,
yeah,
let me
here's
pull that
Apollo's
up. I think I
thighs.
have that. Yeah, I think I have that here.
Epico talked about it.
Yeah, this
We
is
love Epico.
actually a pretty interesting point here, chat, because you know, again, like Yomi said, there's a Twitch streamer that got banned for having sex while on stream and got unbanned after 7 days. Not a permanent ban, but Apollo gets banned for a week after doing a hip expansion, thigh expansion. What? What?
Yeah. Or Ebico. Ebico was doing Gardic Phone, and a outside person came in, drew a very crudely sexual drawing. It was very bad.
Yep.
You couldn't, you'd have to like squint and maybe think of it. She got banned for an entire week. This
So
is
sad.
why we as VTubers are
sad.
upset. This is
It's
where
just-
we
it's
get
enforcement.
bothered.
Like you said, it's the double standards and the enforcement that's just wrong. So I
Yeah.
do want to play devil's advocate here for a little bit because I do want to talk about some of the issues
Please
that
do.
are coming up. And
I think it's
here's
good
the
that you
thing,
cover
look,
both sides.
at the end of the day, you and I, Yomi, and anybody in chat, we can agree or disagree with the rules. But here's the thing. If you want to use Twitch, you got to follow the rules, chat. It is what it is. They can make whatever rules they want. We can disagree with it, but we still have to follow those rules. But here's the thing. If you're not able to understand the rules, how are you supposed to be able to follow them? And I think Zach made a really, really good point here. I think I saw them in chat a second ago. Get a point of restricting sexual content from VTubers who depict themselves from a childlike appearance. Okay, you know, that's fair. However, childlike appearance is a vague descriptor. An adult character doesn't need to be voluptuous to depict legal age. It can hurt petite looking VTubers. Guys, I could be a goblin VTuber VTuber short stack, did they consider that as childlike appearance? I don't know because they're not clear with it.
Yeah. God forbid we have a Rebecca Cyberpunk style VTuber, you know? Like,
Yeah, seriously.
petite people exist. Maybe, and I apologize if I sound like I'm jumping the gun here a little bit saying this, but it feels infantilizing to people who are of a smaller body type, where they cannot be acknowledged as an adult and get punished for having a smaller body type.
Absolutely.
That's my feeling.
I will tell you, if I put a big hoodie on, you might mistake me for being very young. As long as you can't see my chest.
I was gonna say puntable.
But seriously, like if you cannot see my chest, I'm very short. You can easily mistake me as being maybe potentially that. You know, streamers like Neuro, streamers like Hinya, we don't know what they categorize. And so that actually brings me to my next point here.
Oh God, Hinya, yeah, good example.
Exactly, like I want to talk about Vivi-chan. Vivi-chan, of course, is a very small VTuber. You know, let's go look at her model. Yeah, let's go look at her model for a second. Because I think that she's a fantastic representation.
She is. And Vivi also was a great example of what I was saying before, where she has adult humor, but the adult humor was outwards. It was like, I saw on your stream, she was making adult jokes. She wasn't directing those adult jokes on stream about herself.
I don't even see like her model, but anyway, here's the closest thing. Her model is very like,
oh my God.
It's very small, right, guys? It's very small and, you know, tiny, right? So she has a lot of adult humor. But I mean, I'm worried about her, right? And Vivi tweeting out, I don't want to change my model, which reflects my IRL self, which is completely 1000% true. Vivi is so small. Yeah. Just because Twitch has Western ethnocentric view of what an adult looks like, because they simultaneously
infantilize,
infantilize, thank you, infantilize and over-sexualize small Asian women. And I think it's a fair take. I really can't go against what Vivi's saying here because she's right. She's right. Like Twitch, it really does, unfortunately, seem to have this very ethnocentric view of what adults look like.
And, I want to do a test stream where I use a plushie of myself.
Right, like we don't know what they qualify as childlike, but it does seem like, hey, I don't think that she should have to change her model because it reflects her IRL self, because all of a sudden Twitch has this weird loose definition of childlike, right? Like, let's be fair, right? If there's people out there that you can clearly look at it and go, that's not Loli like type model, you know, they're making really sexual jokes. Oh, okay, that's fair, right? And we should protect and we should stop that type of stuff. But for somebody like Vivi, right, that is just really short and really small, why are we trying to enforce a down on her, right? It seems strange to me.
It's been, especially too, it's been fine. It's been fine all this time, and now it's like you have to change your entire identity. Imagine saying that to someone IRL. It's like you can't have that body anymore. It's like,
right.
What?
You can't have a high-pitched voice. You can't have, you know, jokes about certain stuff. Like, you know, Vivi says I'm a petite Asian woman. I'm allowed to be crass and make sexual jokes without being sexualized myself. Oh my God, I knew it! I told you guys that girls mean guy in real life. I told you. But I'm allowed to be crass and make sexual jokes without being sexualized myself. It's not hypocrisy. This is called boundaries. But I mean, like, there are some examples that I've covered in the past where I feel like, you know, some of the stuff that was said was not okay by certain model types. And, you know, obviously saying like, oh, like, I'm 12. Yeah, okay, no, that's too far, right?
Yeah, that's different.
Obviously, but, you know, there is a point where, like, you know, Vivi is clearly an adult. They're not making those types of jokes. Vivi wants to be crass and they have a smaller model because IRL, they're petite. That should not be a problem, at least
honestly,
in my opinion.
I'm gonna be silly here for a second, but like that's some of my favorite kind of content. When I see like Vivi or Chibi Doki or, you know, like small gremlins having crass humor, I could love that. I eat that stuff up. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's the dichotomy. It's the contrast. It's like when you see a comedian who's like an old man making boomer jokes about himself. Like, I love it.
Yes. And Kana, that's really unfortunate. Kana says we need more ban examples in order to see what Twitch truly wants from us. It's sad that we have to almost like, certain people have to be a martyr. You know what I mean? Certain people have to be martyrs for us to actually follow the rules. You know what I mean? It was fine all the time. It's wrong. Rules weren't enforced or unclear before, but they still existed. Yeah, no. Again, I think we already addressed that, Zavin. Like, you know, hey, it was okay.
This rule
these
has
rules
not
were
always
there
been
before, but they were not enforced equally or correctly. I think we're all under the same agreement that they were never enforced correctly across the line.
Correct.
You know,
and
but people
that rule that is always the rule that is has always been there was the hip rule. Things like this one or the like drinking for shots for bits, those are new. So to clarify, those are new.
Absolutely.
And please, if there's any other questions, as we are news, we want to inform you all.
Yeah, throw
go ahead
your
and ask
questions, guys. You know, this is an open discussion right now.
Henya's funniest. Yeah, I agree.
Here is another person that is an example here, which is I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I think it's Niwu. Niwu saying
Niwu as well. I saw this exact one, and I was like, yeah, this is one of the people I was thinking about.
Yeah, like I'm 24. My parentheses Loli Vtuber model is the same as my IRL adult body. I assume that many people mistake me for being a minor. I'm not allowed to be an adult anymore. Why is it I'm doing something wrong by making mature jokes as an adult? I can't help how I look or sound, and as you can see, there's their IRL body, and then this is their model. So I'm not gonna like argue any specifics about a model or anything if it what is and what isn't childlike, because I don't know what Twitch defines it as. But I will say there are people like this with this type of body that represent themselves through their models with that type of body, and apparently looking at the new direction of Twitch, they would not be allowed to make adult type of content or adult type of commentary, right, chat?
It's so difficult, chat. It's all of I'm gonna lay my word down firmly. Like, this rule is just wrong. It's not strong enough on what it's trying to present.
Right.
We have 0 examples. It infantilizes individuals who are mature. It disallows humor, our freedom of speech through who we are. And honestly, I don't see anyone in Twitch staff. I mean, we have ambassadors, that's different, but leave it to Takahata to say, here's our big secret about ambassadors. We have no power.
Yeah, we have no power, exactly. Savin, you are more than welcome to disagree. Again, like I said, I'm not going to get into the specifics about arguing about that model, whether it is or isn't, but the fact that Twitch continues to say childlike appearance without providing examples is just wrong, right? It's just wrong. If you want to be transparent and you want to tell us what it is, then be specific. So that way we can follow those rules correctly, right? Because again, at the end of the day, Twitch can make whatever rules they want. We have to follow it, but at least make the rules clear enough where we can follow it.
When it comes to bust, it's probably going to be bigger than what it is. So when it comes to height, we're probably going to be shorter than we actually are. Hell, most of us are different races and stuff like that. In order to accurately represent an IRL body type through that of a VTuber, so you're not going to be animated anymore. You're going to be like a MatPat talking head. You are going to be an actual IRL photo moving around. There is no logical or good comparison anime to IRL body types because it cannot be accurately portrayed in that artistic medium. And to try to make that comparison is where people begin to make the leap of, actions in fantasy will dictate that of actions in IRL. And we already know that's a whole argument that has been firmly disproven time and time again. It spirals. But every direction it goes to spiral constantly proves not true.
Again,
sorry, I'm very passionate about this stuff.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I'm glad that I have you on here, and thank you for being here with me during this particular topic, because it's an important topic, and I feel like you need people that are passionate to talk about it, right? Look, chat, I'm not here to argue with you about Loli stuff or Shota stuff. Look, if you like or dislike it, that is up to you. I'm not here to judge you about it. But my call to action here is just, at least just Twitch, tell us what is or isn't. Because right now, when I say that Twitch bans are going to get worse, they're absolutely going to get worse because people don't understand what this means. And it's even echoed here by Cynical, right? Cynical says, like, how much you want to bet that Chibi VTuber models will be a majority of these bans? Because people don't know. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, what does this mean? We can look here with Rin as well.
It's our job to be vocal about this because we might lose our favorite VTuber. What if tomorrow we lose Chibi because of this? We need to be vocal.
So Cutie Pie, Rin, even saying like some creators are getting warnings or suspensions based off Chibi models. I'm gonna explain why it's a really bad thing. Chibi models are very, very budget friendly, very easy to do. Chibi models are really good for creators who want to change up models for events. But the problem is, a few creators have been receiving those 7 to 10 day suspensions on Chibi models. I personally don't see the correlation between Chibi and Lolicon. I mean, I don't either, but I think of a lot of Chibis like bobbleheads or Nindoroids. I agree with that. But we are seeing suspensions, chat, based off of that. So it's scary. It's already like we're worried about it, but it's scary. You know what I mean?
We just need more clarification. Well, not only do we need more clarification, but those who enforce rules that do not know what they're even enforcing are not the people who should be having said power. That's a firmer statement when it comes to, royalty and, dictatorships, yada yada, but this applies in smaller ways here where the power at hand, that being Twitch, needs to have people, like their ambassadors, be given more power to speak about these rules or to provide us with examples.
Or
do
just
not
at
go
least
after our Twitch
provide
ambassadors.
feedback to Twitch, like that they'll actually listen to so they can gain insight from a community that they clearly don't know anything about. If you don't know about VTubers, which you clearly don't, Twitch, you still have no fucking idea. then reach out to an ambassador. Ask Lala, ask Taka. These people understand what VTubing is. Hell, fucking hit me up an email. I will help you. I will explain it to you. I will find other people that can explain the stuff that I don't fully understand, right? But you need to have ambassadors for people that understand what the community stands for, take that feedback and action it in a positive way. And the fact that they continue not to do it shows that they do not care.
New stream, Elara having an interview with Twitch CEO.
Yeah, I can't wait for Shy Lilies, by the way. Yeah, I can't wait for Shy Lilies. That's gonna be crazy.
I have a good feeling about that one. Let's be honest. On the outside, the CEO has done some pretty good moves and been pretty vocal. And the new system we're going to be having coming, or the warning system, is going to look amazing. But actions speak louder than words, and a lot of the actions we have been seeing has been, giving me this kind of look on my face as of lately. And so hopefully we can...
So Camilla had a little bit to say about some VR chat related stuff. Camilla tweeting out here, hey, I'm Twitch and DJ Clancy. Hope you know the content like this is 80% of the VR chat category. If VTubers PNGs are facing all the suspensions, either ban both sides or don't ban it all. This is BS, right? So this is stuff you will see on VR chat. This is apparently allowed within VR chat. In practice, they're not the ones really getting all the bans, which again is applying a double standard to stuff. Now, I know they like to treat VR chat as a separate thing. However, I want to make an argument here. People always say that VR chat, you can't control what happens in VR chat, but that is entirely untrue because this person is not in a public room. They're just them by themselves, right?
Exactly.
So why are they treated differently than everybody else? What if I just stream under VR chat category with my VTube studio model? What if I stream Waterdo with a transparent background? How are you gonna know that it's not VR chat? How are you gonna know?
And here is a thing with this too. Like we said, open lobbies, that helps protect us for that. But they should then speak about private lobbies. And looking at this sort of stuff, like, I think if this is marked as an 18+ stream, so therefore the thumbnail is censored and stuff, and people know, this is fine. This is its own little place for people to be that enjoy that. As long as it's, safe, hence the censorship, since the mature thumbnails, since anyone whose account's not marked as 18 won't even have a pop-up in their feed, the safety stuff. I have no problem with that existing. The problem, again, is just like what you said, how this can be here, but then we as VTubers, for far fraction less, are having the monumental amount of
This Twitch Toes update is literally this sentence.
Yeah, I really do like
3D model goes for...
420.
I mean, I would want to know the tags on this kind of stuff, but regardless, like, it still doesn't follow unless they're under the bikini category. And even still, like, they're violating underboob, they're violating the hips rules. Like, there's a lot that's like broken here, which I'm not going after this person. They're making their bag and they're using the loopholes that Twitch has left them. So I'm not going after them, but it's important to talk about some of these examples, right? Even Kirsch. Kirsch saying, hey guys, there should be zero difference in war application and VR chat models versus VTubers. It makes no sense that there is a difference. And I agree with that. Why is there a difference between VR chat models and VTubers? I'll just apply them the same. Like, if you want to back up and say, okay, all of it's allowed, even better. If you want to apply it to VR chat, okay, well then it is what it is,
I can't turn around and show you my, it's not going to work that way.
Exactly.
No, I'm okay with it being a thing. Like, I'm okay with people being able to do it as long as we have it in the safe places. Again, like, let the ass be there. Honestly, please go. I don't even like the underboob rule.
Just be fair. Just be fair. It would be like you going to vote. It'd be like you going to vote, and they would tell, oh, you can vote. Oh, but you can't vote because guess what? You don't have your hips covered. Sorry. Yeah, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, just be fair to everybody, guys. It's so crazy to me.
Fair treatment. And that is the biggest issue we've been saying over and over is it is not being applied. Sure, we don't like the rules. We'll do what we have to. Some of these rules don't make sense. The Chibi one especially, I strongly disagree with and is a very bad spiral. Vague rules
I hope Chibis are not part of that.
Ugh. The worst thing that is ever listed within law and the thing that lawyers love are vague rules because it means they can let criminals get away with things. That's coming from real lawyers. They love vague rules because they don't mean
Again, I just want you to give me an example, multiple examples, or clarify what the rule is. I don't want to see people get banned just so we can all try to figure it out together, because that's what we've had to do, guys. We've had to look at systematically what has happened in the past to decide, oh, well, this is the rule based off what's happened, right, chat? And I hate that. So I really hope that we get some clarification. of what's going to be going on with this. That's all we want. We just want you to tell us what it means. And then, look, I'm more than willing to follow the rules. It's easy for me to follow the rules. You know me, what the fuck? You know, but I want to know for everybody else, right? And it needs to be fair. So I did want to show you guys some really funny reactions. I thought this was, you know, great. I love Freya says Twitch is not ready for me. I love that. Favorite reaction.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Even Fansly getting involved in here. Fansly, of course, saying, show all the VTuber hips you want on Friendly. So I love that. Even Pia, our favorite slime VTuber, says, I don't have a problem. I'll just melt my body. It's all good. Praise the puddle. Yeah, I can't ban me if I don't have hips. I love that.
Slime, let's go.
I love that. Everybody's answers to this is so funny.
Yeah, these are great. Let's have we can at least have a chuckle.
And of course, Alithia putting out the VTuber chastity belt, which I'm using today, chat. So, you know, you gotta protect yourself. This is absolutely free. I'll go check that out on Lithia's channel. I love that. You know, and I think it says to be my
so fast.
I think it says to be my favorite one, Yummy, is Cutie Pie Rin's answer to this.
Wait, what?
I can't hear you.
Don't worry, guys. Cutie Pie Rin's got you.
Who lives in a pineapple?
Lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, baby.
Be something you wish.
The SpongeBob pants. I'm getting these.
We need somebody to have like a PS1 style model, like Lara Croft style, so that way the box shape fits it even better.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Amazing.
So, in all actuality, I think it's ignorance. I don't think that they understand VTubers. I don't think they understand anime culture, and I don't think that they understand how Eastern versus Western, you know, ideology works. I don't think they get that at all. You know what I mean? I think they get a lot of pressure from those outside forces when it comes to credit and providers and stuff like that, and it's just easier for them to just toss it to the side. You know what I mean? I think the lesson and the message I want to put forward today, chat, is we are here and we are open to having a conversation with Twitch. We want to make changes and we want to better your platform and we want to be part of that platform. We want to be part of that growth. We want to make a community that is positive, that everybody can be part of and follow your rules in a very clear and explicit manner.